Having a child with OCD or anxiety is completely exhausting, but I wonder what it feels like to be a sister or a brother to a child who has anxiety or OCD. And how do you help those kids as well? That's what we're going to be talking about. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Having a child with anxiety or OCD will consume you. It will consume your day, your energy, and everything in between. Trust me, I know. I have 3 of them. But what happens to your other kids when you're so busy putting out fires with your anxious child or your child with OCD? Well, I'm going to talk to you about some things that you can do preventatively to help your other kids understand what's happening in your home. And that will be good, 1, for your kids, and 2, it actually will help the child with anxiety or OCD as well. For starters, educate the siblings. A lot of times we are so busy dealing with whatever is going on with our child with anxiety or OCD that we forget to actually educate our other kids. So sit down with the siblings and explain to them what anxiety is or what OCD is. I made a video for kids with OCD explaining what OCD is to them. And that actually would be a great video to show the siblings as well, because the more they can understand what's happening physiologically and what's happening that's causing the behavior, the more understanding they might be. If you're dealing with anxiety, you can read like What to Do When You Worry Too Much or another type of book about anxiety that's designed for kids to the siblings as well, because those books are really helpful and they're going to explain anxiety or OCD to the kids. And if they understand that, 1, it's not their brother or sister's fault, that it is a physiological issue, that genetics play a key part in it, and that it's not about being a scaredy cat or being weird, that it is a brain issue, it is a chemical issue, and that just like if your sibling had diabetes or any other medical issue, we would all as a family be understanding. Second, you want to explain your particular child's anxiety or OCD themes to the siblings. Now, I know that some kids are very private and they really want to keep it secret from their brothers and sisters. But I would talk to your child and say, look, the more your brothers and sisters understand what's happening to you, the more patient they will be, or at least a little bit more patient than they would be. And so try to encourage your child to give you permission to talk a little bit more in detail about their anxiety or OCD themes. Now, I wouldn't have this conversation all together because that might make it a little uncomfortable, and you want the siblings to be able to ask any questions without there being any teasing or uncomfortableness or the child feeling singled out. So a conversation might look like this. Look, your brother has an anxiety around bugs. And so even when there are no bugs in sight, he might freak out. So if we're in the garage, he might have to run really fast because he's scared that he might see a bug. And so when you slow him down because you're teasing him or you're holding him back, he's going to get really angry, but he's angry because it's his anxiety theme and you're triggering his anxiety. So that's an example of how you want to talk to the siblings so they can understand their brother or sister's behavior in the context of their anxiety or OCD. Another thing that a lot of us don't do because we're so tired and we don't have the time to do it is we don't debrief situations after they happen. But this can be really, really helpful, and it's a good learning curve for your other kids. So I'll give you an example. My daughter the other day was poking my son, and he has a poking anxiety theme. He does. So he's afraid of shots and he's afraid of bugs that will sting him like bees or wasps. He's afraid of cacti that will poke him. Anything that can poke, he's got anxiety about. And he is very, very nervous about people poking his stomach. I don't know. You can't make this stuff up, right? So she was fighting with him and she accidentally poked, well, I don't think she accidentally, but she poked his stomach and he went ballistic. And I'm not talking about mildly ballistic. He went ballistic on her. And she was like, what is going on with him? So she's 14 almost, and he is almost 8. So there's a big age difference. But I pulled her aside afterwards and I said, look, you know he has anxiety, right? And she has anxiety too, but a totally different theme. And I said, he has an anxiety about being poked in his stomach. what did you just do to him? And she's like, well, I just poked him in his stomach, but I didn't mean to do it. I was just joking with him. And I said, that's why he responded like that. He's not a psycho brother, although sometimes he kind of is. He was provoked and it triggered his anxiety theme. Now, I'm not making excuses for him, but I'm explaining it to her. And you want to do that with your kids. You want to explain, hey, this is their OCD theme. So when you touched her with your really gross, germy hands, she freaked out like that because that's one of her OCD themes. So the more you can explain that, the better. Now, granted, siblings are siblings. So yes, they might use that information for harm, not for good. But overall, it is better to educate the entire family so that everyone understands what's happening. It's good to define what roles should be, because a lot of times siblings can get a little overzealous once they know their sibling's anxiety theme or OCD theme. They want to be a helper, but it's not very helpful unless maybe you have different kids than I do. So you want to explain to them, look, you're not the OCD police or you're not the anxiety police. It is not your job to cheerlead and encourage or kind of bully them to fight their fears. That's between me and them, not you. But then you might want to give them a role. And so maybe their role is to, not sit so close to them if that's provoking, or maybe give them some extra time when they're rushing around in the morning and not bully them or berate them that we're going to be late. So you can say, look, you can do things to help me. I'm going to deal with your brother, okay? In the morning, he has a lot of triggers, and you can help by just minding your own business and getting yourself ready and ignoring him. Because whenever you make a comment, then you slow us all down because his anxiety gets triggered. He's got to deal with you, plus all of his anxiety issues, and now we're going to be super late. So that's how you can talk to them. So you want to define roles, explain the anxiety and OCD, read books, educate them, and you also want to debrief privately, not in front of the other child, scenarios that maybe they provoked the anxiety and OCD. Lastly, because you're spending so much time trying to put out fires with your other child, it is a really good idea to do some one-on-one time with the siblings that are not having these big issues, because otherwise, sometimes they will do some attention seeking themselves, and that can get pretty ugly. So be proactive and give them some one-on-one time. Once a month in my house, we do one-on-ones. That's what we call it. And I take one child out for an hour, maybe to get ice cream or go get a drink or go see a movie. And it's purely their time. I also do this with all of them. So you want to do it with each child, even your anxious child or your child with OCD. They need good one-on-one time as well. But that way everyone is getting some private time so that you can bond and they don't feel like they're being ignored. Dealing with anxiety and OCD is completely not fun, but hopefully this will help the family understand what's happening in the home. I hope you're having an amazing day. If you're enjoying my videos, take 5 seconds. Well, it's probably like 30 seconds. No, it's probably like 1 second, and hit like, because that's good feedback for me and everybody around me who's watching my videos. You might want to subscribe because I talk about anxiety and OCD every single week. And every Thursday there's a new video. So if you hit subscribe, you won't miss it. If you have a topic that you want me to talk about that you haven't seen me do a video or a podcast on, you can leave a comment in the comment below, or you can go to my website, anxioustoddlers.com, website for all ages, and you can hit the contact button and you can reach me there. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed to my podcast, you should. I will leave a link below. It's the AT Parenting Survival Podcast, and I try to do different topics than the ones I cover in my YouTube videos, so I can see you over there as well. I hope you find the sparkle in everything you do, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
One, two, three.
Having a child with OCD is not only difficult and devastating for the child, but it takes its toll on the entire family. Watching your child do behaviors that don't make sense to anybody, and not even to your child, can be completely heartbreaking. And most parents don't know what to do or what their role is in how to help. OCD is a really complicated issue, and even a lot of therapists don't understand how to treat OCD. And so as a parent, you might be lost as to where to find support or what you're supposed to do in order to help your child crush their OCD. To make matters worse, many kids hide their OCD from their parents, so their parents don't even realize the extent of the issue.
I know my behavior doesn't make any sense. It's embarrassing. I don't want my parents to know. My parents don't even know half of the rituals I have to do.
Being in the dark is the worst thing for your child's OCD. No parent has to sit idly by, clueless about how OCD works and how they can actually help their child, because OCD is very treatable, and most of the approaches can be done very easily in your own home. I created the online class, Parenting a Child with OCD, to help you understand your child and understand OCD, but more importantly, to give you the tools to actually help your child beat OCD at home. You can take the online class at your own pace. Every lesson is there for you the minute you enroll, and you can go through it as fast or slowly as you want to. You can also view the lessons on any device, so you can watch it on a tablet, on the computer, or even on the go on your phone. And every lesson is short and simplistic, so that you don't miss any concept or idea. Not only do you learn exactly how to implement cognitive behavioral therapy and exposure response prevention techniques at home, but you are given 23 handouts and worksheets that you can do with your child to implement the things that I teach you in this class. The class comes with 39 lessons that cover every aspect of OCD, from the origins of OCD to what themes to look for within your child, how to talk to your child about their OCD, how to talk to their siblings about OCD, and most importantly, exactly how to carry out exercises and challenges that will crush your child's OCD at home. OCD only gets worse as time goes by. Don't waste any more time. You can do things to help your child right away. Take the class, learn the lessons, and implement strategies and challenges at home and start seeing some improvement right away. You know your child the best. You see them struggling. You don't have to feel hopeless anymore. There are skills you can teach them. Let me show you how. You can enroll today at anxioustoddlers.teachable.com.